Hey friends, welcome to the Glow Getters podcast. My name's Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, but you can call me KFA because nobody can say that last name. I teach and inspire leaders to step into their power, productive selves, and unlock their fullest potential. I'm a multi-passionate creative and scientist who climbed to the top of the healthcare leadership ladder by age 28, making six figures as a manager. I share what I've learned that I wish I knew when I landed my first leadership role at age 25. You can find more from me on my Patreon site at patreon.com/KFA Glowgetters. Okay, now on to the show. Hey, welcome everybody to this episode of Coffee with Kayla. Today I'm going to be talking about a quote that I found online, and I'm not going to be directly quoting it, but I can just remember the main concepts of it, and it really helped me at work yesterday, and I just thought, this is a really good leadership concept that I think can help you in different areas of your life, whether it's work or at home or whatever you're trying that might be new. So the quote was something to the effect of, don't be afraid to try something new and be bad at it. Essentially, have the courage to maybe not be so great at the thing that you've never tried before for the first time. And, I mean, obviously, right, if you've never tried something before and you give it a shot, you might not be the greatest at it. You might even suck at it. It might feel uncomfortable. You might make a mistake and a misstep. And I think as leaders, this is really relatable because I think sometimes we feel like we need to have all the answers, or maybe it's been a while since you've been in your role and you feel like you should know how to do the thing, but you don't know because maybe no one showed you or you're not aware of what resources are available to you. And now it's kind of been a while and you feel like maybe, it's kind of getting too hard to ask for help. But I'm here to tell you that it's never too late to ask for help. Ask your peers, ask your boss. If you don't know the answer, start Googling it. There's nothing wrong with that. Start thinking about the resources you have available to you that you can start to look into and further investigate. It's never too late. I think it's funny because I've definitely felt this way before. But when you overcome those fears and you actually reach out for help or admit, hey, I don't have all the answers, this is so liberating because then people open up to you. They're like, yeah, I've never done that either. I'm not really sure. Or, oh my gosh, yes, I wasn't aware of this resource, but here's the resource. And so realizing like we're all human, there isn't usually a manual for your job, which, you can definitely create one as you learn things like that. But we don't have to have all the answers. And so don't let that fear cause you to pause or prevent you from taking action. Actually flip it around, change your mindset, and start getting curious. So if you are feeling like you don't have the answers, you need to do something and you're not sure how, start asking yourself like, where would I find resources for this? If I was going to do this thing, here's how I would do it. And start thinking about that. And then bounce your ideas off someone you trust. Okay, so maybe that's a coworker that you work directly with a lot. Or a peer, friend. I ask my spouse for advice all the time. Sometimes he has no idea what I'm talking about, but he's just a little bit removed enough where he can give me some good advice because it's just in general leadership. It's not necessarily specific to my job. So those are some places where I would start. And be okay with not doing something perfect the first time. This is kind of a theme for me. I'm a big fan of progress over perfection because I think when we strive for perfection out of the gate, that leads to inaction. I've definitely been in that spot. I know a lot of people who are, and it's just natural human tendency, I think, for some of us. We're like, we want people to know and believe that we have put thought and time into the actions that we do or the things that we create. I think that there's definitely a space to remind yourself that everybody who knows you will know the quality of your work and knows if you keep working to improve something and that you stick with it. So that's not even a valid reason to feel like it needs to look amazing the first time. Also, I think sharing things that are imperfect or that are a work in progress just shows that you are committed to improving as long as you continue to tweak. And it provides a space for you to be vulnerable with whoever you're leading and show, like, I'm not a superhuman. I'm just a normal human. And I make mistakes and I don't have all the answers. And I keep a curious mind and think, what would it look like if I was going to try something new and fail, or not do the best job that I wish I had, or perhaps I didn't know everything I needed to know right out of the gate, but I went for it. What would that look like? I think for a lot of us, it could look like a courageous leader, and it could look like someone who is of the mindset of moving forward instead of staying in their own ways. So an example of this yesterday for me was working with different labs, and I have one group that we need to do some strategic planning with. And that group has a lab that I haven't been to a lot, and so I've been trying to visit them and learn their concepts. And creating a strategic plan is something I've done in public health school, but I've never done it in terms of for a laboratory. Yeah, I've had ideas for the future, goal setting, I've created plans, but when they are asking me for certain things, I'm like, I don't know, like, we're a business, but we're not like sitting in cubicles, and we're a healthcare organization, so what I'm having to do is kind of take all my thoughts and skills that I've learned from different areas, podcasts that I've listened to, I've read books for budgeting for dummies, I've gone online, I've looked at different industries, I've read all of the blood bank manuals that I need to read for cell therapy manuals, all these different things for healthcare, and said, okay, like, here are the ideas that I have. I don't necessarily think any of them are the right thing, but I think they're all ideas we can grab from and come up with something that would satisfy your needs and would be great. And they received that really well. I think they were like, yeah, we've never created something like this before. We're kind of leading in our industry. And so this makes sense that we might have to create something for ourselves. And we can definitely look outside of ourselves for ideas. And the first draft might not look so great, right? And the fear is, that we would make a decision based on this strategy or strategic planning that might really affect the business. And what if it's a mistake? Well, I'm here to say that there are a lot of safeguards in organizations, and if you make a mistake that's an honest mistake, that's you were using in your right mindset, you were using all the tools and resources you had at the moment, I think nobody is going to fault you for that. Also, appearing like you have created a plan like this before or something like that, I think that would have created more fear for me if I hadn't said, yeah, like, I've never created a plan for this type of lab before. That would have been more fearful because I think the expectations would have been higher. So not that you want to set low expectations, but you just want to be honest with people, like, this isn't so rigid. This can look like what we want it to, and we're going to tailor it to fit our needs. Also, we're going through budget season right now, so finance isn't something that I went to school for. It's traditionally not, I don't want to say it's a weak area, but I don't have all of those technical accounting terms and skills yet, and I have learned a lot over the year, and I think that I'm pretty good at it now, but I still have a lot to learn. And we're doing some restructuring with our budget. And so, yeah, I've never done this before. I'm advising my boss for the first time on this. I'm just sharing, here's what I'm observing and seeing. This is my idea. This is what I'm thinking. And we're meeting with our finance analyst, our senior analyst on Friday to kind of talk through this. Like, does this make sense? And there could be so much fear around that, like, I hope I don't make a mistake, or I don't want to look bad in front of the finance guy. Well, the finance guy knows I'm not a finance guy, right? And so that's his job, is to help me, and I'm there to help him understand my situation. So the other thing to remember is that you are an expert in your area, and you can use other people's expertise to help you grow your area and make it better. So therefore, you don't need all the answers, and you don't have to look silly. You can just say, this is something I'd like to learn more about. What resources can you provide me that will really help me understand the full, consequences or impact that these decisions are going to have? Excuse me. I got to take a swig of my coffee here. So all this to say that if you have a fear of, looking bad in front of your boss or people you respect, or if you have a fear of making a mistake that might actually make a huge impact, put those fears aside and really just ask for help. Bounce ideas off of other folks. Admit you don't know all of the things and just go for it. I think when I have leaders that come to me and say, hey, Kayla, I didn't know exactly what you were looking for in this. Number one, that means I would need to clarify what I need, my expectations. So you can always ask your boss for clarification. But maybe they'll say, I didn't know exactly the format I wanted to see this in, or if this is the data that's really going to show us what we need. But I gave it a shot, and I went for it, and I just tried something new. What do you think? You start brainstorming with other people, but showing that you take the initiative to at least take the first steps, even when you've never done it before. That's going to look so good to your boss and other people you work with. They're going to respect that. So overall, don't let your fears of not being so great or the expert at something right away stop you from taking action. I promise you're going to learn and grow and be a better leader by just trying it out. Okay, guys, thanks so much. And we'll talk to you with the next episode. Have a great day. Whoa, that went by way too fast. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Glow Getters Podcast. You can get the bonus content for this podcast at my Patreon site at www.patreon.kfaglowgetters. And also you can check me out on Instagram at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt. All right, everyone, until next time, be a light in the world. Talk to you soon.